I'd like to break this down into a couple of components because we have a motion, we have a resolution. First, the commission has recommended that $30,000 be used, be allocated to the family justice system. I am in fully support of that motion as written and as specified in 15.009. I don't think there is going to be any difficulty in getting that. Second, the issue is that the family justice system wants another $220,000. And the question is, where does that money come from? The implications in the benched items is that the money, the additional 220, should come from the healthcare district. And it's pointed out that they have a reserve. Well, I believe that the proper way that this should be resolved is that the health district should come to us. The commission should come to us on if they think it's proper to allocate that money, then they should tell us. We have always supported the commission. Now, it would seem from the history that it would be, on the outside, inappropriate to allocate such a massive amount relative to the 20-year history of that organization. But it doesn't mean that the family justice system is not a worthy project. Therefore, I would propose that we approach this as follows. One, we approve the measure of the $30,000 as exactly as staff has presented. Two, that we make a motion that the city manager is directed to provide $220,000 from the Concord City General Fund to additionally finance the Central Costa County Family Justice Center, and further authorizes that if necessary, the funding shall come from the reserve fund of the city. If we feel that it is appropriate to take 80 or 90% of the health district's fund, well, then it's certainly appropriate for the city council to say, wait a minute, this is within our confines. It is our general fund. Every single person on this dais is absolutely committed to the family justice system. Two of us, as Mr. Helix has spoken, and I join him, know what it's like up front and personal when you have domestic violence in your family. It is for the purpose of government to provide domestic tranquility. It is the purpose of this council and the policy of this council that we made the commitment back in June and to our constituents that we are going to make this happen. It is therefore, I feel, totally appropriate that the funds, that we honor the request for the $250, but that the money come from the city. Furthermore, I also recognize that the family justice system is not just a Concord justice system. It is for Central County. I would therefore ask as a second motion, and I will give this out, that the council authorizes the mayor to engage in negotiations with the cities of Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek, and Clayton in regard to additional funding for the Central Contra Costa Family Justice Center at a request of $1 per resident per year, with the commitment that the city of Concord will contribute $123,000 as our commitment. I'm passing these out so you can have it as written. That would be my approach, and I would welcome, Mr. Mayor, how you would like to proceed, because I'm willing to propose the resolution, make a motion that Resolution 15-009, as written, be accepted. Yes, while you may feel that it is an inappropriate amount of time because our city staff hasn't advised us about the allocation of the $220,000, I should point out that the staff of the healthcare district has advised us of what is appropriate from as they see it, and they have advised us that it's $30,000 is the appropriate amount. I am in full support that the family justice system should have every dime it needs. I would remind this council and my community that back in June, I proposed $200,000 to be put in the budget for the family justice system. We have a commitment to our community. This commitment was made by the city of Concord. It was not made by the Pleasant Hill Concord Health District. We have gone to them with our hands open, asking for help. Only the political reality that this council is equally, through much political work, is the same thing as the board of the health district, is the only reason that this is coming in this manner. If the health district was separate, we would not be here with this kind of a proposal. I would still support $220,000 from the general fund, however it may do. It doesn't have to come from the reserve. It can come from elsewhere. That's why we have a city manager. We need this to be done. There's no doubt about it. But we don't do it in a manner that basically is inappropriate from the way we have behaved with the health district. I should also point out, as a final comment, that when the health district was separated by LAFCO and put to Concord, members, myself and other members of this staff and of this council stood up before the Board of Supervisors and praised the fact that our community service organizations and the methodology that we have used has been a political free zone, and that we have always stood behind 100% whatever our commissioners have come out. This changes that statement, and I will not be in support of the motion, but I will continue to support the family justice system in the manner in which it should be done financially, so that it reflects properly on us. Thank you. I would like to address, we already know that there's a nexus from healthcare to the family justice system. That's why they approved the $30,000 in the first place. The issue is not whether there is a nexus or whether it is appropriate to have some money. The question is it appropriate to have this much money and to come in and basically take all the reserves in a manner at this council when the commission itself has not had the opportunity to sit down in session and go over what their reserve policy recommendation is? Again, the family justice system was an engagement by the city council. This was ours. We undertook to get the money. We undertook to pay the rent. We undertook to do the rallying. If we had gotten more money from other areas, we wouldn't be asking for $220 from them. This just happens to be a handy pot of money, and the municipal governments have got to learn to keep their hands off funds that are supposed to be directed to the community and elsewhere. We need to take responsibility and stand up and say, yes, this is worth it, and this is worth it coming out of our funds. Just as I think it's worth coming out from a police to pay for the police, to pay for safety. This is appropriate for government, and it is appropriate for us. We started this. We stand behind it. We cannot allow the perpetuation of grabbing special district monies every time a municipality wants to fund something. We are all politicians. We can justify anything. We could turn around and say, hey, I've got a health care bill for 410 people at $10,000 a year per person. Gee, there's health care. So I think we need to stand behind it and I think we do it from our funds. And then we ask the health district, what do they recommend on their reserves? And again, I will oppose this as written, but it's only because the procedure is inappropriate. The protocols are not being followed. The tradition is not being followed. The money, I believe, we have, and they should get it, but it doesn't come from taking 90 or 80% of the reserves off the top as a swipe from a healthcare district. This is the way I think we should behave, and that's where I stand. And thank you for allowing me a second bite on the apple there, Mr. Mayor.